As you'll recall, all our work happens in the draw function, which is a common pattern in the D3 world. We had a bit of weirdness here because I wanted to illustrate that your rendering can update based on the data and handle the delta gracefully. We want to restructure this. We don't want to keep this handle to the screencasts around, so let's drop that. We can just hook up the draw function directly to the d3.json call. Let's clear out all this junk in the draw function and start from scratch. To recap, our data that we expect looks like this: an array of screencast objects, each with a title and a view count. Let's start rendering this. The first thing we want to do is get a handle to our container element, which already exists in the DOM. We do this by using the familiar CSS selector syntax to select it using its ID. To this container, we want to append a new div, which we'll use to represent our graph. On this div, we set a class called barGraph, so that we can target it from CSS a bit later on. If we open up our browser, we can see that it's created that div for us and decorated it correctly with the barGraph class. I've reconfigured the windows here so that we can see the effect in the browser as we code it up. We need to tell D3 what we expect in the DOM first. We expect an element decorated with a bar class for each of our data points. And now that D3 knows how to find the elements in the DOM, we tell it to join it with the data that we got back from the server. If this seems a bit weird to you, we've got a whole section in this series dedicated just to joins, so go check it out. Now that we've got our join set up, we get a handle to the items that need to be added by calling enter. For all the items that need to be added, which in our case are all the data items, we add a div. And we decorate each of these divs with a class attribute with a value of bar. In each of our bar divs, we want to set the text based on the data. So we call the text function, which expects a function as its parameter. And from this function, we return a formatted string based on the data. We get to use fat arrows and template strings here because our environment has been configured with Traceur. When we save that out, you see something similar to the previous episode, a list of episodes and their view counts.